want to do now is open it up to media. When you get the microphone in hand, please have your question ready. Please have your name ready and give us your affiliation and briefly state your question.
Mason Smith with HBCU Legends. Coach Pough, the first game of the year also has a unique challenge because you don't know how rosters change. Even they have a lot of people back. What challenge is it for your team, seeing that Jackson State's roster has had so much turnover and preparing for the first game of the year?
It's hard. You don't know exactly what to prepare for. You got to go around and figure out all kinds of angles to possibly figure what they might do based on the fact that they've got different players, they got different coaches. And, our season is almost entirely that way in the early part because we play Jackson the first game. They've got 2 new coordinators and a new head coach. Then we go to Charlotte, and they've got a totally new crew at Charlotte. Then we come back to Georgia Tech, and I'm sure you all aware, what's going on over there and the fact that they've changed around their staff. And then we go off for a week, and then we play the Citadel. And the Citadel's got a totally new staff. So It's just kind of business as usual for us that we don't have a clue what anybody's doing. The only good thing about it is we only open with 2 of those teams. We do open with Jackson, who will have not played a game with their new staff, and then we open with Charlotte, who has also not opened, who will also not play the game yet. It'll be there. We play week 0 and week 1 against 2 new staffs. So it's a little bit of an issue that way. But you know what? Once we get out there and get to playing, we got to kind of figure it out as we go.
Question over here.
Thank you. Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab, 12 HBCU football championships between the 2 programs. But I wanted to get a little bit into the X's and O's, and I know you're not going to tell us too much, but Corey Fields is coming back in terms of the quarterback play. For you, Coach, what does that look like in terms of going up against the defense of Jackson State? And for you, Coach Taylor, on the opposite side, what do you want to get done with your defense in terms of this new regime, particularly going after a quarterback such as Corey Fields?
Yeah. Anytime you face a quarterback like Corey, you got to be disciplined. That's what we talked about. Some of the things that he can bring to a football game, beat you with his arm, with his legs, So we got to be disciplined. We feel like the strength of our football team is on the defensive line. We got great depth over there. We got some guys that can really play. I feel like our coaching staff hit on some good transfers, some guys that really can play at a high level. Over the last couple of years, we've been so successful because we've been #1 defense in the country, in turnovers and things like that. So we want to continue to preach that going forward. To me, defense wins championships, offense sells tickets. You hear that all the time. But we live by, die by that. But I'm very excited about that defense. I think that was the kid that played against us and did a heck of a job here in the Celebration Bowl a couple years ago against us. So we're excited about the challenge, getting an opportunity to go up against him again. And like I told the D-line, and our defensive staff, just make sure you're disciplined, keep him in the pocket, those kind of things, and see if he can beat us with his arm.
And then Corey is a wonderful young man who has finished his undergrad and is in the last semester of his graduate degree in phys ed. He'll be a athletic director, a teacher, or something of that nature. Pretty soon, right out. He wants to be a high school athletic director, and he's been a really mature guy in a way that, he's almost like having a coach on the field. So it's great having that guy back. Now we've got a new offensive coordinator, so it's a little bit different kind of setup as far as how we do stuff, given those circumstances. But it's always good to have a guy in your scheme that kind of half the way you can depend on to know what to do.
Question to your right.
Oh, okay. Travis McGee, HBCU Ball and Show. Coach Taylor, I met you last Celebration Bowl. You have a lot of confidence, and Coach Buddy Pough, I met you at the Celebration Bowl before that, and I want to jump right into it, man. How has the transfer portal helped both of your programs on both sides of the ball? I know you lost a lot of, players here and there, but tell me how the transfer portal, helped your program.
You want me to go ahead?
Listen, you the transfer portal guy. I'm just kind of sitting there with the same little ragtag bunch we had the last time. Go for it. I need to know too. Go for it, TZ.
I get that question a lot about the transfer portal, and it has paid dividends for Jackson State over the years. Everybody knows that. The departure of Coach Prime, a lot went to Colorado, a lot went to other places. So as far as bringing in my new coaching staff, we talked about, we got to go hit this transfer portal. All it is right now, you're dealing with NFL free agency. The thing about it, the thing that we do a good job of is vetting those guys that we bring in. You can't, a lot of times I tell them, like, you inheriting other people's problems sometimes, so you got to make sure you're getting the right kid. And we've done a great job of that. I was concerned about the summertime and how all of them would gel with like close to 60, 70 new guys. But the chemistry has been crazy. It kind of scares me at times to see how well they come together and how quickly they did. But it's been good for us. I have to say that we're going to continue to recruit out of it. What we also try to do is get some young guys. There's some young kids in there that are in there because of playing time issues. They have, 2 and 3 seasons left. So, they're still able to buy into your culture and your program. And I feel like we did a good job with that. But basically what we did in December, once we started getting so much turnover, we had immediate needs. And we started to attack those needs out of the portal. So, as far as vetting the kids, understanding the parents, you check with the parents and where they're coming from, and also reaching out to the coaches and the staffs that they previously came from, and trying to do a good job of that and making sure you're hitting on the right ones.
We did have 3 young men to transfer into our program this past Christmas, this past January. One tight end from Chattanooga, a linebacker from Delaware State, and a corner from Alcorn. Is it Alcorn or Alcorn?
Alcorn. Alcorn.
we had that conversation a lot. Anyway, we have 3 in, and then we lost 2. We lost the Davis twins, BJ and Shaq. Both guys, well, actually Shaq left him. He went through the portal to the NFL, and BJ went through the portal to East Carolina, and we actually lost a running back too. So it kind of balances out for us. Whether it's good or bad, I'm still kind of figuring this thing out. It's kind of toward the end of an old man's time, and I don't know sometimes if I can figure out between NILs and transfer portals. It gets to be a pretty good little deal to figure that stuff out. So I'm just kind of sitting there watching, trying to see what's next. Thank you.
Question to you, right?
Emmanuel Glaze, the Crush Sports Talk. Coach Taylor, we know about the previous regime and what was going on and everything that went on at Jackson State. What can people and fans expect from the Coach Taylor regime at Jackson State?
Continued success. We want to continue our winning ways. Like I preach to our staff and our football team, everybody in the building, trainers and all. We're the 2-time defending SWAC champs. Hadn't lost a SWAC game in 2 years, so we want to continue those ways. Something we always talk about too. We want to be a more physical football team. We talk about adding physicality. Our strength coach I brought in over from Texas Tech, Jalen Watson, he did a heck of a job this summer with those guys for us, changing their bodies, changing some of the mindsets. Like I said, we had, anytime you bring in like 60 new kids, new players, you got to mold them and get them to believing in the JSU brand and way. That he did a heck of a job with that, as well as my coaching staff. We started training camp on the other day, they reported, but I'm here now, so I feel comfortable enough to be here, and know that they taking care of everything. But those are some things we talked about, the physicality of our football team going forward, and just making sure all these guys accept our culture and the winning ways and all the success we had in the past.
Good morning, gentlemen. This is Roy Evans with the Black College Sports Network. And I have a question for both, but it's kind of an experience, 2 sides of the same coin. Last year, Jackson State was top 3 in both offensive and defensive statistically. Coach Pough, this is your 21st season as a head coach, and you've probably seen everything in this league. Coach Taylor, if I'm not mistaken, this is your first head coaching position.
Yes.
And so you're new into that chair. How does that statistic or those two statistics really mesh as you're getting prepared for this first game of the season when nobody's going to see what's happening with such a high turnover on your team? So, Coach, from your side of it, preparing for them, and then Coach Taylor, for you preparing to go out with this new turnovers on your team.
I think it's hard for us to prepare for a team that we don't know much about with the circumstances the way we have them placed in front of us. It's a tough deal to not know personnel and, and possibly coaching staff. So we've got a little bit of an uphill battle in front of us, and we've got to get good fundamentally at just doing the base things so that we can then go in and just have a good sound approach on both sides of the ball. And then as the game goes on, then we'll figure some things out. But at this point right now, we are clueless as to what scheme-wise these guys are, personnel-wise, who will actually be in place because of the fact that it's just, our information is just so limited.
We got to keep it that way too, Coach. Yeah, I mean, I think Coach hit it on the head. You just got to get back to the basics, when you're dealing with anytime you're playing that first football game. You talk to your football team about coming out playing hard, executing, not turning the football over and finding ways to beat yourself. Coach got a couple new coaches on the staff too, like he said. So I know that, we've been trying to figure out and, do our research on what we may see and how they may come out and play us. But it's just about coming out and playing hard, getting your football team motivated. I don't think we'll have a problem getting them motivated anytime you're in the city of Atlanta. And, when JSU Nation shows up, that energy is going to be in the building, but we just can't find ways to beat ourselves. And and the main thing is it's going to come down to both teams. Who's ready for the fourth quarter? Who's going to be ready in the fourth quarter, because a lot of adjustments are going to be made throughout that football game. We'll be filling each other out like a boxing match, and when you get to the fourth quarter, it's like now we got to figure out a way to win this football game.
Jake McDonald, Core 360 Sports. Coach Taylor, Atlanta, as for all his glory, has not been too kind to Jackson State, dropping 3 ball games here. What will be your brand? I mean, we know what Coach Sanders, his brand of football was when he was at the helm, but what will be your mark? What will distinguish the Coach Taylor Jackson State football team?
As far as I think it's for the entire event of that week, as far as travel, everything is organized, getting on the plane the right way, looking the right way, getting off the plane the right way, as far as pulling up to the hotel, looking the right way, looking the part, looking organized. I think all those things come into play when you talk about a successful football team. Kids look for organization. They're big on the organization piece, and, they critique coaches as well on that kind of stuff. So we try to make sure we get everything right. But just going forward, like I said, it's those things as far as preaching physicality, playing hard, and my main thing, with all the new faces, again, just playing together and understand, this is going to be a physical football game. Coach Pough, ever since I've been going against him, he's coached some great NFL talent, Darius Leonard and some other guys, and they'll hit you in the mouth. That's what I'm trying to get these guys to understand. It's not going to be easy. This is a team that beat us 2 years ago, and they come into Atlanta to win another.
Macy, you heard Crush Sports Talk. This is for Coach Taylor as well. Have you enjoyed the quiet as we get ready for the 2023 season? Not all the cameras, not all of the social media stuff, just the quiet as you get ready for the season.
What quiet you talking about? Dwayne, I ain't experienced the quiet shit too. No, I haven't really experienced the quiet yet. It's been, I've been having to go here to there. I was in Detroit visiting the alumni association up there. It's been quite a whirlwind. That's what me and Coach was talking about earlier. I'm ready to get back to the X's and O's. I've been in suits I'm not used to all this. I wanna go coach football. My team missing me, I'm missing them. But it's been a blessing. I'm just taking this all in. God has told me a long time, I would be in this seat. I didn't know it was Jackson State, but I knew eventually somebody would give me an opportunity to be a head coach, and I'm gonna make this work. Make sure I put the right people around me that got my best interest in heart, believe in God, believe in family. That's who's been with me through this whole process, and I'm just excited and taking it all in. But I am ready to get on this plane and get back to a little football, though.
Question to your right.
BJ Jones, Black College Sports Network, and this is a question for both of you. Coach Taylor, taking over a new program, your alma mater, you have the big stage, SWAC MEAC Challenge, national broadcast. How does that benefit both of your programs when you start sitting in living rooms and recruiting young men to come to your programs? And more importantly, how does that impact HBCU football as a whole?
Yeah, I'll go first. I don't know of anyone who did not see the last ABC broadcast that we played Jackson State here in the Celebration Bowl in 21. I'd be in the grocery store and old ladies who I had no idea would sit and watch a football game. Coach, I saw y'all play Jackson State. Y'all beat Dion. And it was like an unbelievable experience in a way that I just never really realized that kind of activity resonated throughout the country the way it did. So it's good to be don't sell ESPN and ESPN2 and all the other little brothers they have down the line a piece. But when you go on ABC on Saturday evening at 7 o'clock, then you know you're going to get a big benefit from it, and your university is going to get an advertisement that they almost couldn't afford to buy otherwise.
I think it's huge. You look at what happened on yesterday. I think ESPN picked up the rest of our season. So we want to take that and go with it. The way recruiting is now, we talked about the transfer portal. You get all eyes. You get all eyes. So when you get those kind of moments, it's important for, regardless of who's on that platform, to go out and show a good brand of football. That's how I look at it. You don't want things to be sloppy, a lot of penalties, jumping off sides. You got 13 players on the field. You just want to make sure you're putting on a good brand of football and letting these networks and these platforms know, we're playing good football in HBCU. We're doing good things. You look back this past season, we only had one guy drafted. And just going forward, we continue this platform. This is a great way and a great benefit for the players to go out and show that they can play on the next level as well. So I think it's huge for all of HBCU football and recruiting.
Question right here. Hey, Raphael Sharper, Black College Basement, aka Famous Fees. Question for both of you, Coach Pough. Coming off of a disappointing campaign last season and starting off the season here against the defending back-to-back SWAC champion, how do you use that as motivation to prepare your boys to jumpstart the next season? And to Coach Taylor, do you plan to keep the swag and overall environment of just what you had in the prior regime, or are you going to just put your own stamp on it and just run things a little differently over there?
Yeah. I think it's pretty obvious when you look around that some of the people who were there last year, as we were going through the issues that we went through last year, are no longer there. And, that's motivation in a way that you'll always know that with success, you get benefits, and with failure, there are some benefits that also come about. So I can tell you that we've had an unbelievable offseason getting ourselves up and running, getting ready for this coming. We thought we were a little bit fat around the edges after having gone through that good season in 21. And we didn't have a great regular season even that year. So we got a little bit ahead of ourselves. We came into last year thinking that we were going to just kind of go out and it was going to happen. I think we know better now. So we got to see if we can make it happen in a little different manner this 23 year.
When you say swag, what do you mean exactly?
Just, like the flashiness, that everything was video. Like we followed every single step of the way for 3 years. We know everything that y'all been doing. Like, you plan to just kind of keep everything rolling like that, or kind of button that up a little bit?
I'm putting my own particular spin to it. I'm not a big flashy guy. I'm more of a quiet guy. Quiet as kept. I like the players out front. You look at what we did this spring. Under Armour came in and did a mini documentary for us, and it was more about the players. But no knock. That's not no knock against Coach Prime. Great career here at Jackson State. I learned a lot from him. One thing we had in common, he was a first-time head coach, had a lot to prove, and here I am, a first-time head coach with a lot to prove. But I'm still wearing my shades out on the field, if that's what you call it, swag. I work out every morning, you know. So, but you know, that energy got to carry to my players. You know, it carries to my players. You know, I got to walk in confidence, and that's what I do on a daily basis. I speak in confidence, you know, and I think that got to carry to the football team, and it will. You look at it at the way they approach the game now and approach practices, you know, they're a reflection of me. You know, they're a reflection of me. But I'm not a big talker. You know, I'm not a big talker. You won't see a lot of the social media stuff that you've seen in the past. You know, a lot of it will be a lot more about the players because I'm all about them elevating too as well. You know, and Coach Prime did that, you know, previously also. So it's just a little bit different, you know, different era, you know, different things going on moving forward. And then another thing is too, a lot of those kids that was there for him are not here no more. You know, they playing for TC, you know, and that's the thing going forward. So they're going to kind of take on more of my image and the way I approach things. Yeah.
Ernest Ricks, MTMV Sports. Coaches, I want to know from both of you all, from the standpoint of your students, from your players, what does it mean to them to be in the SWAC MEAC Challenge?
I'll go first, Coach. For us, I know we talk about, you know, it's a little payback. You know, to be honest, you know, you get another opportunity at a South Carolina State team that, you know, kicked our butts on TV a couple years ago. I mean, they really came out and, like I said earlier, hit us in the mouth. So, you know, once this game was announced, Mr. Grant announced this game and said that we was going to be in this football game, man. And, you know, we had guys licking their chops. And, you know, what's crazy about it, we talk about all the new people, but, you know, they fired up. And I be telling them, like, y'all don't even know nothing about this game, you know. You know, even the coaches, they fired up. I'm like, man, y'all don't know what's coming, you know. So you try to prepare them on a day-to-day basis and let them know, you know, this is going to be epic, you know, come August 26th. And just understand, you know, that, like I said earlier, the platform that we'll be playing on, and understand this, Coach Pough is going to bring a team that's going to hit you in the mouth, you know, and going to play a physical brand coming out of the MEAC.
Mm-hmm. I think our team is motivated to play a SWAC team. The league is somewhat of a rival of ours. It's just a regular deal. Anytime we play one of the teams over there, and they've taken a couple of our teams, there have been some things that have gone on that have created some rivalry kinds of style of thoughts with our teams. So anytime you look across the letter right there and you see a team that you really know is coming to get after you the way Jackson is going to get after you, I think it's pretty easy to get yourself up to play. Anytime you have a year the way that we had last year, though it's not Jackson, it's anybody. Anybody that shows up in front of us at that point, it becomes a real big deal for us to have, you know, our best foot forward. And at that point, then we've got to, you know, then let it happen.
This will be our last question two last questions from the audience.
Yes, good afternoon. Or should I say good morning? This is for both coaches. Michael Jefferson with Block Sports. Question for Coach Pough first. The MEAC is considered to play a much physical brand of football over the SWAC, at least that's a lot of people say that. My question is, do you agree with that? And Coach TC, watch you play football back in the 90s, are you planning on bringing that type of physicality that you played under back to Jackson State?
We think that the style of ball between the two leagues is a little bit different. The SWAC's a little bit larger league. It's flashier. They got bigger stadiums, some of those kind of things. We think that our league is kind of a down-home kind of league. But now everybody in our league is pretty much even. Anybody on any day can beat you. We think sometimes I guess parity between us sometimes gives people a little bit of a confidence that they think that we're not very good. And the fact that we all pretty good, you know, we feel like is maybe the one characteristic that kind of fools people a little bit about us. So I can tell you that we think that we do a better job overall from top to bottom. Now, our top is a lot closer to our bottom because there's only 6 of us. But the 6 of us all will get after you on any given day. And we think that might be what makes us different from the big league over here with the 12 schools.
That was good.
Vicky Jones, VMH Magazine and Sports right here. Vicky Jones, VMH. Oh,
Wait a minute,
you finished?
I didn't get to
Oh, I'm
come
sorry.
on that.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we did play a physical brand back then when I played, but the game was so different, as opposed to now. Thinking back then, we was talking about my coach, Big Daddy Carson. We were doing 3-a-days. You wake up in the morning, practice, go eat lunch, come back and practice, and you back over there at night. You practicing. So NCAA not standing over you. Things are so different now. So you find ways to try to preach physicality. It's even the way you have to approach practices now. There's no more Oklahoma drills or things like that. So I think physicality is one in the weight room. That's where your strength coach come into play. He's spending a lot of time with them, putting, adding muscles to the body, getting them faster and things like that. And just trying to continue to preach it, because, I talk and they hear about how good of a player I was, but every one of them out there think they can come out there and, dominate me. I hear it all the time. But, just the game is so much different now than opposed to the time that I played the game. So you're just trying to find ways to, implement some physicality drills in practice and, get that going with your football team.
Okay. Vicky Jones with VMH Magazine and Sports. I'm going to say this as quickly as possible. Before the lights were on, to the degree that they are now in terms of exposure, ABC, all the networks, ESPN, everyone seeing HBCUs as a whole, you guys were doing it. The drive. I don't want to assume, but what drives you and continue to drive you before the lights to do what you do for HBCUs, leadership and coaching?
It's a joy for me to go to my office every day and mix with my coaches and players and all the people around our program that way. So it's pretty easy, even though I've been doing this for 40-some years now, to get up and go to work in a way where I'm not thinking about retiring. It is a pretty safe bet that you never have to say, man, boy, I sure don't want to go to work today. This is a wonderful opportunity for me to get out of my house and go out. And the guys do everything from teach me how to, I don't even wear my phone the way you old folks wear your phone. Y'all got clips on your side. The boss said, no, coach, you don't wear it that way. You put it on like this, that kind of stuff. Now, I got to have a little bit of, I guess maybe oversight when I deal with their music, because now when I have music playing during practice, and we looking for crowd noise, and so everybody now the in vogue thing is for you to have these big speakers and DJs and all that kind of stuff out there doing practice to have some kind of noise element going. So you have to have the communication dealing with the noise that way. But at the same time, man, I don't know if I can handle some of the stuff that I hear come over the speaker waves that way. So, there are things that I enjoy, and there are things that I sometimes have to take a little bit of a step back. But I can tell you, it's more fun going to work in my particular situation because these guys keep me young than anything else that I possibly could be doing.
I think the thing for me is the development of these young men. Watching them, you get them. When I'm recruiting these student athletes, I always talk to these parents talking about we running a relay race, and I'm running that last leg for you, getting them ready for life. And just to see, a young man come into your program at no matter the age and just see the things they do, what we call at our program, we get them ready for life after football. Teach them resume build, how to write a resume. We take them through mock interviews and things like that, and just get them ready for the real world. I tell them all the time, football can open so many doors for you. It did it for me. That's why I'm here sitting in this seat. It's all about relationships and the people that you know. But that's my motivation to get up every day and just get them ready, not only for the games and the pageantry of, those weekends. It's to get them ready for life. Nothing makes my day better when a previous player I coached would call me and say, Coach, I'm doing this now. I'm working at this company right now. I'm doing that. I remember you told me this, Coach. You taught me how to write a resume. You remember you helped me pull that up online and showed me what I need to do. That's why I do this. That's the motivation I have in this in the game. Thank you.
Stephen Gaither, HBCU Game Day. To both coaches, I'll ask Coach Pough. You've been around almost as long as it has been in MEAC. As a player, as a coach, you've seen it all. So
you know what? I hadn't thought about it, but I have. I was there the first year of the MEAC.
There we go. So I know you spoke a little bit about it earlier, but what do you, as you talk about, what's the culture of the MEAC as you see it moving forward, as you guys continue to plot your path? And then, Coach Taylor, I know last year we had about whole debate about who's SWAC and who isn't SWAC. We all know that you're SWAC. Where do you see your league going ahead of, as you guys launch the season?
I think the MEAC considers itself a cutting-edge kind of league. We take a lot of pride in doing things at a real high level. All the different kinds of things you do, from player development to academic support to strength and conditioning, to all the different kinds of things that you can do throughout your program, I think we feel like we do at a high level. And, that might be the most important part of it all. There's always, something that you see on TV that you say, I think that's really neat. I think you want to really, try to, maybe replicate that kind of deal. But you see a lot of that kind of stuff on my film in the MEAC. And those are the kinds of things that I really enjoy talking about and being labeled as being, the maybe inventor of, or that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff comes out of our league.
I think the SWAC hot right now. You look at everything that's going on in the SWAC right now with the pageantry. The fans, to me, make the SWAC what it is. You look at these football games week in, week out, no matter if it's a Southern Fam game, Alabama A&M, Alabama State, that rivalry, Jackson State, Alcorn, those are packed houses. I'm very excited about where we are in this league. We just added 2 new teams with FAMU and Bethune-Cookman from the MEAC, and they have come in there and been competitive, though. But I'm very excited about where the league is going. Even you talk about the SWAC championship game. That's a special event that, we're looking forward to participating again in this year. But the fans make the SWAC what it is. We got some great players and some unbelievable coaches in this league too. So, I'm very excited about where we're going right now.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Coach Pough. Thank you, Coach Taylor.
Thank you.